Shelves of tins and vintage art, yet in these walls still beats a heart. A refuge once, where care was sown, and in the garden love has grown. Though brands now fill the rooms with light, the past still glows forever bright.
So this building was bought in 1986 by Christopher Spence, John Shine and Andrew Henderson to create a centre for people affected by HIV and AIDS.
It seemed to be a place of sadness that was filled with love. The kind of hospice workers and the nurses were just extraordinary, really kind and very loving. And the people that they were looking after got wonderful care.
Well, the pandemic, HIV/AIDS pandemic was raging, and there was so much misinformation and hysteria and bad press and whatever, and panic about that I thought I could help by offering just some simple time to
And I think when Princess Diana visited, and she visited a lot and spent a lot of time with the patients, that kind of changed everybody's perception, I think. Well, a lot of people's perception, because it got so much media coverage.
So throughout the 1990s, as HIV treatments developed and changed, London Lighthouse came to close its residential unit in 1998 and then merged with the Terence Higgins Trust in the year 2000. And then eventually London Lighthouse closed in 2013, which is when then in 2015, the Museum of Brands bought the building and came to move here.
Well, I came here last year not knowing where I was going, and was actually, as soon as I walked into the building, especially about out into the garden, I just burst into tears and got really emotional. Well, one of my close friends who I'd met on an acting job, he just suddenly disappeared from everybody's lives. He kind of withdrew from life, and everybody was very concerned, but he didn't, he wouldn't respond to anything. And then one day I got a call up from the blue to say that Michael is in the London Lighthouse, and he's going in and out of consciousness, but probably has 2 or 3 days to live. And he's been talking about you a great deal. So I wondered if it might be possible for you to go and visit him.
We're very lucky to have the AIDS Memorial Garden here, which was created in 1990 and is looked after by Gary, who's been here since the start of London Lighthouse, and his amazing team of volunteers. And it's a really beautiful, tranquil space dedicated in memory of people who passed at the lighthouse.
So much was happening back in those days. But the garden was, at first, it was really a few pot plants and a place where people, staff or people who were staying here, could come out and relax and on a sunny day have a cup of tea and a cigarette. And then more and more plants were being brought in. So this would have been now early 90s, I suppose.
Well, the word memorial came in much later when a lot of people were buried in the garden. They wished their ashes, they or their families, wished their ashes to be interred here. So after a while, the numbers were mounting, and there were probably hundreds of people buried in this garden now. So it became appropriate to give it the term memorial.
Gary was very much the driving force, but it was that donation of citrus and other scented plants that really got everything going.
Well, we have a team of volunteers, and some of them have been here for many years, quite dedicated. They're quite attached to the garden. So we work We have work days when they gather, and we have we laugh a lot, work a lot.
It became a place where people could find peace and solace because, you know, there is much to be gained psychologically from being in a garden, from the smells and the sights, and the fact that even though we're in the middle of somewhere as busy as Notting Hill, and we have children playing all around as well, it still feels peaceful and special, and it did from the very beginning.
Today, in many ways, the pandemic, of course, has moved on, and it's used by the community, but again, in the similar ways, people come to meet friends here. The museum uses it extensively they have events here in the garden. Just a nice place to hang out.
Once a beacon, once a guide, now a garden where memories hide. Amidst the blooms, the roots run deep, a promise made, a past to keep. In quiet corners, love remains, a sacred space where peace sustains. Though shadows fall, the light still lingers in every leaf, in tender fingers.